Hey guys, this is Cyclone from the Immoral Family of Clans, and I'm going to just show you something a little bit different here. I'm going to kind of call this video, why I decided to go to 8.5 Town Hall, or maybe even some would say 8.2. Um, it kind of got me started with, I think it was someone from Clash Heads who shared a video on YouTube about the member weighting algorithm that Supercell uses for determining where a member would fall on the war map. And it just got me thinking a little bit about, I'd heard about 8.5, 9.5, and just curious how that really played out. And looking at the weights that were shared in the YouTube video about the weighting, just kind of made me think about, like, and there have been discussions in our clan about if you have max offense and maybe let your defenses lag a little bit, how that plays out when you're matched up in a clan war. And so I've actually, for like the last 2 months or so, with my Town Hall 8, I basically put a halt to all defensive upgrades. So I already had my level 6 air defenses and just kind of the essentials in order to make sure I wasn't just getting dragon attacked constantly. But really just focused on my offense and got all of my troops completely maxed out for Town Hall 8. Got all my walls built as well, up to level 8, so the skull walls, before going to Town Hall 9, which I've now done. And I just want to show you, first of all, the kind of the weighting aspect of this that I don't know, I've probably spent a couple weeks on this at least. And just ultimately how little the impact really was in terms of my map position just for simply going to Town Hall 9. I haven't built expos. I think I've really only built the 4th air defense, giant bomb, 2 seeking air mines, and that's about it so far. And then I have upgraded some troops. So first thing I did was get to my hogs to level 5 and my loons to level 6, and then of course get my archer queen built. So that's really all I've done. But let me just show you here. This is a file that I created that just kind of shows the different weights, and not just from a total power standpoint, but also it's my attempt, and I know it's not perfect, but I'd say I'm within, I don't know, a couple percent overall when you look at the total power, but trying to break out defense versus offense. And I'll show you what I factor into that, just based on some of the descriptions that are provided by Supercell. So what you're seeing here is actually a summary, and if you go into this file here and you plug in all of the possibilities that a max 10 would have, a max Town Hall 10 would have, a max 9, 8, and 7, this is how it essentially computes out. And it's saying that a max 10 gets your power here to, about a 99. 9 is around 75, 56, 42, and so on. And then what I've got here is a comparison. So my Town Hall 8 prior to upgrading to Town Hall 9, this is how it measured out. And then once I went to Town Hall 9, with some of those upgrades I just mentioned, this is how it measures out. So bottom line is, you can see defensive power hasn't really changed. My offense has gone up slightly. And my positioning on the war map has gone up just a little bit, and I'll show you that in a minute. But just to talk briefly about the mechanics here, you can see there's a lot of inputs that go into this, so pardon me as I scroll. But start out really with how much offense are you capable of? So with Army Camp 1, 2, 3, and 4, what level are they? Clan Castle obviously can hold troops as well, and so that, it's my belief that that factors in to some extent on your offensive power. Then you've got your spell factory, and then the different levels of your troops. So that's really what's been entered here, and including your spells as well, and then your Barb King and Archer Queen level. And then on the defense side, pretty straightforward, but you got cannons up to 6 as a Town Hall 10, and then archer towers, of course, 7 of those, 4 mortars, 4 air defenses once you get to Town Hall 8, 4 wizard towers once you get there as well. Air sweeper was kind of a new addition, and so just factored that in based on what I think it's worth. And then Teslas, Expos, Infernos, and then the walls portion here. These are kind of in clumps of 25, so you got 25, 50, and so on. So at Town Hall 8, you've got 200, I think it's 225 walls, and at Town Hall 10, 9 and 10, you can have up to 250. And then your regular bombs, springs, giant bombs, air mines, and so on. And because especially when you're being attacked in war, you do have clan castle troops, usually, or at least the possibility of having them, along with your Barb King and Archer Queen. So they do factor in my opinion, on the defense side. And so just to flip this over here and just show from a weighting perspective, because I think that's what a lot of people are curious about. So this defense description here is really straight from the FAQ from Supercell. So defense, what they say is defensive buildings, walls, traps, and heroes factor in. And then on offense, your troops, your army camp capacity, your spells, and your heroes. So starting with the army camps, obviously by level, your capacity varies, and so taking that in some combination of how many camps you have and how many capacity you have, I try to factor that in. Same thing for Clan Castle, and same thing for Spell Factory. So just because you have a lightning spell, do you have 2 of them or do you have 5 of them, and your possible capability. So quantity, I think, matters. You can kind of ignore some of this because I was messing around, but ultimately the weighting here, I guess I could change this to say weight, but barbarians, you can kind of see the scale here, starts at 100, goes up about 100 each level. Archers about 150 per level, and then giants about 120 per level, and so on here. So the takeaway here, of course, loons at max are about 720 from a weight perspective, max wizards about 900, and so on like this. So troop wise, 700, 600, there's a little bit of weight to it, which is obviously carry more. So as these troops become available to you, whether that's through upgrading a barracks or doing research in the lab, it factors in to some extent. But what you'll see when we get over to the defensive side is the defenses weigh considerably more than offense. And that's why, when you're talking about the total power on the other screen, even though my offense went up, it really didn't change my overall total power in that regard. I guess another one that people are maybe curious about too is Barb King. So Barb King's about 15 points per level from a weighting perspective, and the Archer Queen is about 26 per level. So initially they're not really going to factor in a whole lot. So I think I have a level 2 Archer Queen now, so we're at about 52. And once you get up to 5, you've basically almost tripled that, and then it continues to kind of compound itself as you go further up. So a max Barb King, 747, and going down here to a max Archer Queen, about 1200. So anyway, I'm not going to again claim that all this is perfect. I'm kind of borrowing some information from other people as well, but I will say that I've had probably 30-40 people in our clan fill out a form that I can feed into this spreadsheet, which kind of calculates their offense, defense, and total power. And it actually comes out pretty close, and I'll show you what I mean by pretty close in a minute. But I would say just in general, it seems to be playing itself out to be at least somewhat reasonably true. In terms of map positions, in terms of loot available when you're being raided in a war attack, and so on. Spells wise, you can kind of see they're factored in here as well. 600, 1200 for heals. Heals a little bit more. Rage is kind of similar. The freeze spells do carry a ton of weight to them. Obviously, you can't really get to those until you're at Town Hall 10, but each level of that does add quite a bit of power from an offense standpoint. And then here on the defensive side, the thing that you got to keep in mind with these is this is per cannon, and so when you start talking about getting into level 10 cannon as a Town Hall 8, there's really, or maybe it's Town Hall 10, or sorry, Town Hall 9, you're talking about 1,000 points of weight, but that's per cannon. So when you take that times 5, you can get 5,000, take that times 6, 6,000, and so on. So you actually get a considerable amount just for having multiples of these, and so cannons add up quite a bit. Archer towers are about the same actually as a cannon, so again, take that times how many you have. Now, where a lot of people really maybe don't understand it is mortars and wizard towers carry a ton of weight. And so the easiest way to get yourself moved up on the war map is to upgrade your mortars and your wizard towers. A lot of times people are excited when they get to the next town hall level and they want to get those wizard towers built and maxed out. What I can tell you, and at least in my opinion, is if you do that prior to getting your offense up to speed, you're actually doing probably a little bit more harm to yourself, at least from a war perspective. Obviously, if you're just someone that's farming and trying to protect your loot, they definitely can help with that. I've taken a very offensive-minded approach in terms of how I'm positioning myself within our clan, and have basically shut down any upgrades on mortars and wizard towers, like I said, for a couple months now. And 4,000 per mortar, or 3,000 per mortar here at level 6 times 4, you're adding up quite a bit of defense for just a few upgrades. And then the wizard tower itself as well, even 500 points higher so per tower. So just wanted to kind of point that out. Air sweeper doesn't seem to really have much weight whatsoever. Teslas are another common one that can add up to some extent. You get 4 of those at Town Hall 9. Putting them up to level 6, you can obviously see how that adds up. Expos and Infernos is another common question. You do get the 2 Expos and then 3 of them at Town Hall 10, but the 2 Expos as a Town Hall 9, you're going to put a fair amount of weight into your defense, which is going to move you up. And then, of course, your Infernos, the second you put those down, you're really starting to add up the defensive weighting. So well, I guess there's some traps here as well. Traps, I can tell you, just in general, don't carry a ton of weight. They don't appear to, even giant bombs for that matter. But walls is probably the last one. And this is my weighting per 25. So if you saw on the other screen I had earlier, those clusters of 25. So if you're talking about a level 8 wall and you have 25 of those, it's worth about 800 defensive points. So all that being said, going back to get back over here to this screen here. Like I said, all that factors into the it's basically essentially adding up the points in the background, and then based on what I was seeing just from having max 10, 9, 8, and 7, try to just kind of factor in some kind of divisor in order to get things sort of corrected. So that's maybe what you see up here at the top. But at the end of the day, there's a weighted average essentially that goes into the total power. And in this case, you can see what I've got here for my Town Hall 8 and my Town Hall 9. So here we are on my now Town Hall 9 account, and obviously I guess you can see all my trap positions, so hopefully you don't raid me after this because you'll know where everything is. But anyway, just to illustrate the point now around just map positioning, because I think that's the other question here. So if I go over to our war log, and we are in the middle of a war currently, so maybe can show you how this plays out a little bit. But going back a couple wars, if you view the map here, let's find where I'm at. So this was a 35 versus 35 war, and I was positioned 25, and so I can show you this base because I don't use it anymore. But here I am at Town Hall 8, so this is prior to going to Town Hall 9. So you can see I was positioned 25 in the clan. Now, just to show you how I kind of sense check the weighting, I'll look at war events and find the first person that attacked me in this war. We'll see where that was. Find it here. Kind of late, I guess. That was me. There we go. So here is when I was first attacked. Now, what I want you to look at is over here on the left side, the available loot of 51,000. You can drop the zeros, and that kind of correlates to what I was showing you on the other screen there. I think it might have calculated to 52, but having a 51 on here The 180 I think only shows up once you actually have a dark elixir storage, but I still think there's some relevancy I've seen with that as well. But these numbers, these three numbers kind of roll up or down depending on what Supercell's calculated weight for your player is. And so pretty much at the time of the initial matchmaking, there's going to be that first pairing, which is essentially going to determine the order. Now, if you're upgrading buildings or upgrading troops after the initial matchmaking is complete and prior to the war starting, you know, in theory, you could change. These numbers could be a little bit different if you did something significant or had something significant finish. But the initial matchmaking and ultimately your map position is based on, you know, what your calculated weighting is at the time of matchmaking. So if you saw that I was at 51, if we go up here to like, let's find the first time that Deceiver was attacked, just to illustrate this. And right here, I think, is his first time he was attacked. So he's at a 51 as well. So let's go a little bit higher and go up to, let's go to Cryptic, and we'll find when he was attacked. Sorry for all the scrolling, but you'll see my point here in a second. So, find him. Still not yet. So he's another later in the war guy, apparently. Somewhere here. Oh, hopefully I didn't miss it. Okay, so here's Cryptic, him being attacked. So you can see that his weighting up here is about a 52. So he's got the same walls essentially that I do. Let's see here. He might have, maybe has like a mortar a little bit further along than I did, and yeah, a couple cannons that are a little bit further along than I have. So that's enough to tip the scale just for him to be weighted a little bit higher. If we look at his troops, go to him here. So from a troop perspective, we both have the Barb King 10. I think I had level 5. So actually I had higher troops than he does because I had the Max P.E.K.K.A, so level 3, you know, as a Town Hall 8. I had level 2 Golem. I think I had my Valken upgrade, but I also had the max spell. So all of that being said, just his few defensive upgrades that were past mine put him above me on the war map. So I'm sure you've seen this before as you've looked around in your own clans and understand what I'm talking about. So anyway, the main point here being that I was placed as spot 25 on the map with that particular war, and then I think this is the first war here where I was at Town Hall 9, and that upgrade actually took place after the initial matchmaking. So, you know, let's find where Cryptic is here. He's 20. I was moved up just a little bit, I think, because of some players had opted out. But in this particular war, you can see here I got the Town Hall 9. I put in my Archer Queen as well. And I don't think I'd actually added the Seeking Air Mines. I didn't have the gold at the time to do it. And I didn't have the other air defense in yet. So it only moved me up slightly because of the initial matchmaking. Really, like I said, I wasn't even at Town Hall 9 yet. But at the point of the war actually starting, let's see here, I think I had, I won't be able to show that, but I think I already had my level 5 hogs and I had my spell factory upgraded. So essentially I came into this war with 4 heal spells and level 5 hogs. And so, and by the way here, I'll show you the replay against me. So my weighting went up to 53 just from having those additional troops. So not huge, but you can start to see how it's beginning to affect it. So this was also 180 on the Dark Elixir weighting, but now it's 190, so that went up slightly. All this being said is it's meaning that in the next war, from a matchmaking perspective, I'm going to get matched up a bit higher. But I can also say that at the time that the upgrade had occurred with these better troops, raiding was definitely easier, just because I had the extra spell and the higher level hogs. So just to show you what that kind of looked like. So this was, you can see this Town Hall 8 essentially has the max wizard towers, has the max mortars, doesn't quite have all the walls in place, but you'll see that down here at the bottom I've got level 5 hogs and I've got 4 heal spells, and not to mention the Archer Queen. So this raid was rather easy, and you can see I'm just doing the initial lure, which you want to do with hogs, of course, and Asian wall on the top, and then just painting the base here with the 4 heal spells. I'm not going to slow this down because you kind of get the idea, but I was able to basically paint the entire map with the heal spells and the level 5 hogs and still be positioned on the map as a Town Hall 8 essentially, because I'm still not higher than our own max Town Hall 8s. So this is a huge advantage to have, in my opinion. Like I said, it didn't really factor in on the total matchmaking weight from a clan perspective. But this was last war, and then if I look at our current war, where I'm positioned here this time, and this, we actually moved some guys out just to be aware. It didn't take me all the way to 14, because if everyone was still here, I'd probably be somewhere around 17 or 18 on the map, so moving up a couple spots. But you can see that Slim Jim here, I won't show you his base just because you might want to see where his traps are, but he's basically a max Town Hall 8, and me as a 8.2, beginning 8.2, 8.5 kind of situation, still keeps me down here a couple spots below the Town Hall 9s. And so essentially then I'm being matched up from a mirror perspective against, let's look at this number 14, is again another Town Hall 8. So I didn't even attack this guy because once I started going with the Town Hall 9s, I started to move up on the map a bit, so I think I hit number 12. And so this was their max Town Hall 8. So again, offensively I'm there, and I'm even past max Town Hall 8, but I just want to show you how easy this is though. I've been trying to advocate that as many of our members do this as possible if they really want to just focus on the war aspect. Honestly, I know one concern is that if you do move up a town hall, then of course you get the loot penalty when you're trying to raid and do farming, but I honestly haven't really had any issues with that. I mean, pretty easily was able to get enough Dark Elixir to upgrade my Queen to level 2. Already have my Clan Castle in upgrade, already have 2 army camps in upgrade, so I mean, hasn't been a problem, and I will definitely take the improvement on the war attacking strength, because I'm very war minded and trying to focus on that primarily in this game because that's what I enjoy. But you can see that again, there's just no trouble whatsoever in just destroying a base like this. So many troops left over at the end, and another 3-star. Ideally too, as I get some of these other troops up in strength, I should be able to reach up in here to the opposing Town Hall 9s and start to 3-star some of them. At this point, I've just got the loons at max, that I took them up a level in the hogs. Obviously eventually here I want to get witches in play. We have a lot of donation needs for witches, and then are used in a lot of attacks, of course. And then getting the Lava Hound in place is really essential too for the La Lunian or type of attacks that are going to be really helpful, of course, for attacking a Town Hall 9. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to kind of share with you some of my initial thoughts here about going to Town Hall 9. And even though I didn't have all my defenses upgraded, so I did do the walls, of course, but I didn't do the wizard towers to max, I didn't do the mortars to max. I've got some cannons that are still a couple levels back, and I think I've got all my archer towers about a level back. But so far I haven't really had any issues, and I think from a opposing war attack standpoint, the opponents have had to send their Town Hall 9s down to get me, because their Town Hall 8s can't handle a base like this with the 4 air defenses and an Archer Queen, and not to mention all of the additional Seeking Air Mines and Giant Bomb. You get the 4th Giant Bomb. So I've just kind of positioned it as it's tough enough that it's going to require someone to attack down, which of course burns an attack that they could be using higher up to take on one of our Town Hall 9s. And so I guess just all things being said, seems to be a pretty nice advantage from a war perspective. And like I said, I haven't had any issues with farming at this point. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and just wanted to shed some insights as to how I've been thinking about the game lately here, and just trying to build off of what some others have provided in terms of insights about the clan member weighting in terms of how that factors into matchmaking. So feel free to post any questions you have. I'll try to answer them. I'm not going to claim again to be an expert, but this is just how I've been leveraging the information, and it seems to be working so far. And hopefully we'll see you back here sometime again. Also posting war recap videos, so if you like those, please subscribe to the channel here. And if you're interested in joining the Immoral family, then check us out on the forums. We do have a recruitment thread there. And if you meet the requirements, then be happy to have you apply. I'm co-leader here in the Immoral Reapers clan. So if you do apply in-game, just please mention that you saw us on the forums, or mention me, and then that way I know you're not a spy from the opposing clan. So, alright, that's it. That's all I got for you now, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.